Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Change Now reverse pitch. Can we get everyone to take their seats? And also, we're going to be on stage for an hour, so we're going to need some energy. So can I start again? Thank you very much, but we're going to start again. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Change Now reverse pitch. Thank you. OK. Now, as you know, Change Now aims to bring together the thinkers and doers who will help positively impact our planet and society for future generations. To that end, as Kevin said earlier, what you're about to witness is quite unique. My name is Philip Vella, and I'm the co-founder of ITRO, the part-time CMO. Our business works primarily on marketing for startups, scale-ups, and funds, and in so doing, we spend a lot of time helping startups get ready for fundraising with pitch decks and communication advice. For that reason, we've been tasked with doing the same with the funds you'll see on stage today. That's in this reverse pitch. That's right, today we turn the tables. Normally, it's startups pitching to funds. Today, it's the funds pitching to LPs. You're about to see 12 funds pitch themselves in an effort to gain your attention and hopefully the interest of the investors in the audience. The funds are from and make investments in startups all over the world who they believe can positively impact our planet and society for future generations. Each has their own story and thesis, and so I invite you all to listen intently and make up your own minds about the kinds of things you believe can have the greatest benefit for our collective futures. Each fund has 4 minutes to present, and we will be strict with the 4 minutes. Okay? There will be a bell at the end of 4 minutes, and then I will enter the stage. They are, of course, aiming to raise their own funds, and to that end, we have 5 LPs in the front row who help select the funds you'll see today. And they will be invited at the end of each pitch to ask questions of the presenting fund. Here we have Emine Marezi of Endefi, Sophie Fajot of EVPA, Natalia Ray Vidal of Swen Capital Partners, Dirk Melman of Phoenix Capital Partners, Christina Tora of GSG. So I'll ask you please to generously offer your support with a small round of applause at the end of each pitch of the funds. And of course, if you want to follow the conversation, you can do so on Twitter with the hashtag ChangeNOW. So, as the kids say over on YouTube, let's get into it. The first presenter on stage is Isabelle Carpentier from Beauty Impact Ventures.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Isabelle Carpentier. I'm very pleased to meet you today to introduce our new VC fund, Beauty Impact Ventures. To start with, did you know that 74% of molecules produced in Europe are dangerous for health and the environment? And guess what? As a petrochemical actor, the cosmetic industry is a major contributor to the chemical cocktail we live in. To face with the regulatory pressure which is strong in Europe and the growing pressure demand from consumers, the cosmetic industry has started a long journey to change itself, and we need to speed up the pace. That's where Beauty Impact Ventures come in. The first VC impact fund dedicated to the transformation of the beauty industry. The industry faces a lot of problems. First, the chemical impact with the toxicity of molecules. Second, the water stress, as the water is the first ingredient in the cosmetic industry. Degradation of biodiversity with potential issues of sourcing. The packaging impact, as each year tons of plastics are created and most of them won't be recycled. And important emissions of greenhouse gases. Why do we have to solve these problems? Because the market is huge, roughly $600 billion, half the size of the global pharmaceutical market. The beauty and personal care concerns billions of consumers. This is a universal, highly growing, profitable market. We are talking about hygiene products, skin, hair, and beauty care, and even dietary supplements. We are here at the frontier of chemistry, biotechnology, pharmacy, and even agri-food. Where are we willing to invest? We will invest across the entire value chain of the industry, from formulas until packaging waste. We are pragmatic about our targets, whether it's B2B or B2C. The goal is to find innovative solutions to the sustainability problem of the industry. Who are we? We are a team of 3 experts who share the same vision for the transformation of the industry. Céline and I are investors in premium consumer cosmetic sector, from VC to large cap companies. Candice is our beauty and impact expert, as she's a pioneer in sustainability in this cosmetic industry. We are supported by an experienced team whose expertise range from research and development to international distribution. What are our strengths? We've got a vertical approach that creates value. We build a powerful ecosystem, the result of our combined experiences. We use a SaaS platform to quantify and measure impact KPIs through our proprietary methodology. And last but not least, with that, our deal flow is rich. Thank you.
So now I invite questions from the LPs. Can I ask you to, the first time you ask a question, introduce yourself, and then after that you don't need to do it again. So who would like to go first?
Hello. Hello, I'm Imen Marzi from Indefi. Congrats for the pitch. My big question for you, Isabelle, is how are you going to make sure that you can actually invest in the right companies from biotech to pharmacy to what is the partnership reach that you built? Because you mentioned it at some point, but I would love to know more. Thank you.
You're right. We will invest across the entire value chain. So, in fact, B2B or B2C, it will be very pragmatic. So, in fact, the goal is really to find a solution, an innovative solution. And I think our goal will change during the investment phases. Today, we are looking some things like biosourced molecules, for example, which could be very interesting to replace petrochemical molecules. We are also having a view on packaging innovative with less preservatives, for example, which gives a new solution as well. And we can also invest in brands if they are showing an innovative production or way of having new products. So I think we just works with our platform, our SaaS platform, which is a great methodology for impact first. We have partners with research centers to feed the deal flow. This is very important for the B2B. For the B2C, in terms of ecosystem, we are in the ecosystem for a long time, so we've got the deal that are coming naturally, I should say. And at the end, of course, we are open to co-invest, to share collective intelligence, if possible, with other funds for some specific solution or some specific companies.
Thank you. Our next presenter. You can see how strict we're being with time, so. Our next presenter is John McKenna from Ecoentreprises Fund. Come on.
Thank you. Hello, hello. Thank you very much for having me. My name is John McKenna. I work with Ecoentreprises Fund. We're a venture fund for nature. We are a women-led and women-owned venture fund. We're 8 people, all female, one exception. And over the last 25 years, we've been building investment portfolios that help support critical ecosystems with a focus on the global south. So oftentimes when we speak to institutional investors, they ask us, well, why the global south? Why not Europe, North America, more stable regions? And the reason for that is the world's biodiversity is not evenly distributed across region, nor do we believe it's a regional issue to protect the world's species. And so it's more of a human issue. And so for that reason, we've been investing in, over the last 20 years, so 25 years now, we've invested over $100 million in 47 companies to date, and we're launching our 4th fund this year, which is a $200 million cap raise. So Ecoentreprises targets 3 critical outcomes. One is biodiversity. We focus on protecting those ecosystems, such as like critical ecosystems, and we do this by investing in sustainable forestry, by ecotourism, ocean-based investments, and regenerative agriculture. And the goal here is to reduce deforestation, as well as mitigate land and ocean degradation. Our second focus is climate solutions, and we do that by investing in such areas as alternative proteins, climate tech, renewable energy, and circular economy. And then our third area of focus is social equity. We invest in those businesses that actively support local communities with a particular focus on women-led enterprises and those that support different indigenous groups. I want to give you a little trajectory here, if you can see on the screen. This just tells you kind of our story, but it's really kind of indicative of the whole impact space. So we started in the late 90s, before impact investing was actually called impact investing. And it was really a concept fund. And we invested in, it was a $6 million fund. We invested in 20 companies. And really the whole objective was to prove that impact investing could work. And so we were able to do that. We invested in early stage companies, many of whom are still around today, which says a lot. And some of them have been quite successful. We have one that's pre-IPO, another one that was recently sold to Nestle. And so our goal was really to prove that impact investing could work and could scale. In 2010, we launched our second fund, which was a growth capital fund. We invested in 11 different businesses. Several were carryovers from our first fund. And we also launched our first book called Portfolio of the Planet. And our second book is coming out, I believe, in Q1 next year, called Impact Investing for a Sustainable Planet. In 2018, we launched our third fund, which is a little over $100 million fund, and also a growth capital fund. And we'll be finishing investing that over the coming months. And then, as I mentioned, we'll be launching our 4th fund later this year, which has a $200 million cap raise. The point of this slide really is to show that impact investing does work. We've been able to show over the last 20 years, with what is really a limited amount of capital, $100 million over 20 years is very, in an investment world, is very small, as you know. But we've been able to show that A, you can scale impact, and B, you can generate tangible impact and financial results. And it's really to show the importance of continuing to support the impact ecosystem overall, because impact really can work, and it can generate financial returns. Oh, and finally, I just wanted to kind of show how diversified of an investment base. When we started out, no one was investing in emerging economies and impact investments, and that has grown over the years. It started with the European DFIs and governments, and is now diversified into more institutional investors and increasingly high net worth individuals. So we continue to diversify that portfolio, and we think it's important that more and more people come into this space.
Thank you, John. We have please.
Congrats, thank you very much. My name is Sophie Faujour, EVPA, European Network of Investors for Impact. My question is, my question is, do you have commitments, maybe from existing LPs, from other funds, or new LPs, in terms of fundraising for this new fund? Thank you.
Okay, thank you for the question. Yeah, so we just started fundraising, but we have a target first close of 50 million by the end of this year. We believe we have most of that already committed, just with 3 LPs. Most of our LPs have actually continued with us over the 20 years, and I think that's a testament to that we've done a good job. So thank you.
Can we have another question? Yep.
Hi, this is Natalia from Swen Capital. What's your sourcing strategy?
Sourcing?
Your sourcing strategy. How do you source your...
For capital or for pipeline?
For pipeline.
Pipeline. Well, you know, one of the benefits that's been around for 20 years is most of our pipeline is incoming. We have a very deep pipeline. As we've grown, LPs have always asked us, will you be able to continue to invest this money? And so when we went from 6 million to 30 million to 100 million, that was always a concern. Honestly, we have more pipeline than we know what to do with, and we feel like we could easily invest 2 million. But most of it's incoming, believe it or not. And we live in region, and we're actively involved in conferences and trade shows throughout. So we've never, in my 10 years, I think we've had 2 months where we were worried about pipeline. So it's never been an issue.
Impressive.
And there's a lot of pipeline out there.
I think we're going to have one more, yeah?
Thank you so much, John. Last question. What is the one lesson that you have after 20 years of doing this business in terms of portfolio monitoring and supporting impact at heart companies?
Yeah, well, I think what people forget is that it's hard work. You cannot do it from New York, London, Paris. You need to be on the ground. You need to be actively involved, actively engaged. People forget these are small companies in emerging markets, in new and innovative spaces. They need a lot of hand-holding, a lot of institutional development, capability support. And so it's really the hands-on engagement that really makes the difference.
Perfect. Thank you, John. Our next speaker is Olivier Deduve. I hope I said that correctly. Yeah. From Simplicity.
Thank you very much. Good morning, everyone. So first, I will introduce myself. My name is Olivier Deduve, as you heard. I have basically created already a couple of investment funds in Impact VC since already 10 years, pioneering 10 years ago impact investing. Before that, I was an institutional investor in private equity and then a tech entrepreneur back in the days in AI, would you believe it? So I'll start with what we are in essence. We are a VC impact fund focused on impact, measured impact. We aim to raise at least 100 million with a first closing around 25-30 million, hopefully anytime soon. But who knows in this market? We are Article 9 compliant. We also believe that as tech investors, and I will talk about it in a minute, but urban tech investor, we also aim to have a market return, and by that we target 15% IRR on our fund. I will also demonstrate that we're bringing a unique ecosystem. Actually, we're owning a unique ecosystem. I will talk about that in a minute. And I'm sorry to say that we are on a massive and growing market with urban tech and sustainable cities, with all the problems that we need to solve, and technology is at least partially an answer to that. So why sustainable cities? Well, basically cities occupy 3% of the land globally, consume 75% of global resources, and emit around 70% of CO2 globally. So basically, if you can find solutions for cities, you find solutions for most of the problem, at least in climate, for the planet. And if we split that into the different components, building and construction represent basically 40% of that, and transportation another 22%. So if you solve those two problems, you've solved 2/3 of the problem of climate in cities, and that means more than 50% of the climate issue worldwide. So basically, if you are serious about impacting climate investment, you must start with cities and the technologies in cities. It also occupy more than half of the population worldwide, and it's going towards 60% by 2030. I said we own an impressive network. Basically, my fund partner, Dirk Paling, created a few years ago the European PropTech Association, which is a network of national PropTech association, and now also in mobility. And so it's a network of 30 associations, local in Europe, all over Europe. He owns the network and the federation, so we have the data, we have the database, we are the organizer of all the events, and we have like 600 startups competing every year. We have the data and so on, and for us is a tremendous help in selecting the best rising stars in these technologies. It's also a huge network to accelerate and test the ideas with a large corporate and the European community. Oops, how do I get back? So in essence, we are a very experienced team with a successful track record in impact VC, and since already 10 years. We have a proven impact methodology that we've been developing over the years. As I said, and hopefully demonstrated, we have a unique network for deal sourcing and a very experienced team in PropTech and mobility. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Olivier. Question.
I have a question. Hi, I'm Christina. I work for the Global Steering Group for Impact Investment. Thank you very much for your pitch. Technology has a huge environmental impact and social impact as well in many countries. For example, if we take lithium. I'm very curious to hear what your thoughts are around that and how you will be addressing those in your investments.
How we are?
Addressing the environmental and social impacts of technology, and especially rare materials that are part of the tech solutions.
Well, obviously in cities we're not doing a lot about environment, but definitely about climate. Social is a super important aspect. So in our themes we also have the social, basically access, affordability, and inclusion is part of it. It's not the biggest part. The biggest part still is CO2 and climate, and because in PropTech there's so much to do. But we also include some healthcare, well-being, inclusion, fintech a little bit, and so on. But it's mainly climate for mobility, electrifying the fleet, but also for buildings, making sure that they are much more efficient in their energy use.
Yeah. So my point is, for example, in electrification, electrical mobility, lithium has a huge impact on the environment elsewhere than in the cities where it's being used. How are you going to address that point?
Correct. Well, we would be using the methodology to track impact towards the initial source and to do a full impact analysis of any solution we bring to market. But that brings us to a very important thing, is that you have to make trade-off when you're doing impact investing. You cannot be a full impact investing. Actually, existing is not impact if you push the limit of the exercise. So we have metrics of trade-off, and in some case, yes, you have to accept a certain negative impact to create positive impact. But that's a trade-off analysis.
Thank you. Thank you, Olivier. Merci.
Yep.
And our next presenter is Marie-Capucine Lemetey, correct?
Yes.
from Ring Capital. Please.
Hi, everyone. I'm really happy to be with you this morning. Thank you, ChangeNOW, for organizing this and for adding the challenge of this circle stage, which is very great. I'm Marie-Capucine Lemaitet. I'm a partner at Ring Altitude, and I will talk to you about Ring Altitude Growth 2, our Impact Growth Fund. We are all here for a reason today, and this reason is increasing challenges, both at environmental and social level. And we at Ring Capital, we've gathered some beliefs considering this context. We first believe that there is a new growth model, a growth model that takes into account the planet and the human boundaries. We do also believe that the entrepreneurs are the ones that are capable to provide solutions to these challenges, and they are the ones that make us succeed. We also believe that impact is the new paradigm. It's a buzzword, for sure, but it's also a responsibility and an opportunity, because the companies that will be able to put impact at the very core of their model are the ones who will be succeeding. A little bit like 20 years ago, when companies managed to put digital at the core of their companies, they did succeed. Finally, we, as investors, have a great role to play, not only to guide the capital towards impact companies, but also to help and support the entrepreneurs to maximize their impact. This is why our mission is actually to support these entrepreneurs providing these solutions. And those are the ones that maybe less visibly but more deeply innovate to find models that manage to combine impact performance with financial and economic performance. And we do that with 3 strategies, and in particular, an impact growth strategy with our fund Altitude. When we talk about impact investing, we talk about investing in companies which activity actually provides a solution to a given environmental or social issue. And more concretely, even if we are not a sector fund, we do focus on the sectors where these challenges are the most important. At environmental level, we talk about energy transition, circular economy, agriculture and food, mobility, waste management, construction. And also at social level, we talk about inclusion, accessibility to services such as education, such as health, such as financial services, and also new forms of sustainable employment. We've been doing that for several years, investing in almost 20 impact companies in these sectors, in France, but also in Europe and in Northern America. And we've been doing that with a great team, a team of 7 investors that have been working together for almost 5 years. And we are backed also by 2 teams, teams of operating partners working only to support our portfolio companies, and an impact advisory board composed of experts at social and environmental level, challenging us and our portfolio companies on our impact strategies. So, very concretely, we are currently raising the 2nd vintage of our Impact Growth Fund, Altitude 2. It's an SFDR Article 9 fund, targeting 300 million euros, investing in France and in Europe, in order to help impact companies. We talk about mature companies, 10 million euro revenues, profitable, 25% growth rate at minimum. And the idea is really to help this company being impact leaders, showing both a track record of financial performance and impact performance. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Marie-Capucine. You can have our question, please.
Hi, Dirk Meuleman from Phoenix Capital. How do you make sure you cover all these different themes well with a relatively small team of partners? Is that one partner covering one theme, so one for circular, one for energy? How do you do that?
It's not a split by partner. This is the way we manage our sourcing. We really try and have this focus on all those sectors and all those thematics at our sourcing level. And then we've been developing for sure some expertise when investing in some of the companies we already have in portfolio. So right now we have one person really dedicated to education topics, other on mobility, but it's more also about a collective approach. This is very, very strong at Human Capital, the sense of collective that starts from the sourcing and then leveraging the expertise we've been building.
Okay, we're gonna have one more question.
Yes. Are you planning to invest only in impact native companies or also in companies that are willing to change in order to become an impact companies?
That's a very good question and then a very good topic. We invest in companies that are capable to show that they do deliver an impact and that we can measure it. If they've been transitioning before our investment, it's fine by us. But when we invest, what we check is that the activity they actually do is providing a solution to an environmental and social problem, and that we can measure it starting when we invest.
I think we can fit one more if anyone has. No? Okay. No problem. Thank you, Marie-Capucine. Merci. Our next presenter, can you please welcome Sabine Fléchet from Masawa.
Good morning. Have you or someone you love actually struggled with mental health issues like depression, eating disorder, anxiety? My name is Sabine Fléchet, and I'm here to present to you Masawa, the first social impact fund that nurtures capitals while nurturing minds. As uncomfortable as the topic can be, we're not going to change other societal challenges like climate change or inequalities or injustice if we are not tackling the global mental health crisis. Well, as a matter of fact, depression is the #1 leading cause for disability worldwide. 14 is the age by which half of mental illnesses start. And in Europe only, mental illnesses cost us 600 billion euros annually. That's 4% of our GDP. Yet, mental illnesses can also put businesses at risk. Unhealthy and unmotivated individuals can hinder success, your success, actually. 65% of startup failure are caused by human conflict. And I've experienced this firsthand at LeadX Capital Partner while investing in 70 companies across my portfolio. So there is a huge opportunity to invest both in purpose, in impact, but also in people. And this can lead to higher return on investment. And that's what we aim at Masawa. At Masawa, we are launching the first social impact fund that backs early-stage European founders catalyzing mental health and wellness via what we call a nurture capital approach that minimizes human capital risk and add 1.5x increase in financial and social return. How do we do this? We focus on digital products and services that provide better access, but also improve efficiencies of treatment that address mental illnesses via new technologies and innovation. Think, for example, of biomarker that detects early signs of ADHD, or VR, AR technologies that fight depression or bipolar syndrome. Not only this, but we will also invest in social determinants that can indirectly address mental health, like education or food and nutrition. Think of the brain-gut connection. What is our value add to our founders? Well, we design a very unique framework called Nurture Capital, weaving profit together with purpose and people. And especially on the people side, that's what we are unique about. We will help our entrepreneurs with coaching, with mental health support. depending on their needs and their growth stage, so that they can actually improve their leadership effectiveness, team resiliency, and adaptability. As a result, Nurture Capital brings more healthier, purpose-aligned startups, leads to 33% less failure, and adds 1.5 incremental in financial and social return. Who are we to do this? We are a global and diverse team of impact founders, of venture capitalists, of leadership and social change experts. Our track record spans across asset classes, business types, as well as geographies. And we are fundamentally convinced that we need to change the paradigm between founders and investors, and that's what our impact stack is about. 10% our carry is going to founders. We have a soft lending package as well for founders that failed. Whoa, 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 whoa. And we would love to have you on our journey. We are currently finalizing our first close, and we would love to have you for nurturing capital minds and driving long-lasting change. Thank you very much.
Merci, Sabine. Amen.
Can you tell us more about the last bits when you didn't have so
Yes.
much time, about the soft landing?
Exactly. So we basically created what we call an impact stack because we really want to rebalance this trust paradigm between founders and investors. So we allocate 10% of our GP carry to founders, and we have a soft landing package for founders that might fail with, of course, a clean insolvency, so that they can they can get back on their feet, right? So this can include coaching support, therapy, can include mental health tools, or even new skill set, so that they can start innovate again. And another aspect of our impact stack is we will redistribute to a Masawa foundation anything which is above 4x in terms of multiple of invested capital from our GP carry.
Okay. Yeah, one more
I
question,
have one
please.
more question. Thank you so much. It was brilliant. I have a question around access to health inequalities. So lower-income people have less access to healthcare than other people. So is this something that you will be looking at, and if so, how?
Yeah, so we are focusing on European countries for now. It could be that Fund 2, 3, 4, we kind of expand to emerging markets, but even in European countries, I mean, we know that mental health is completely underfunded, and so we will look for solutions that basically have an audience across entire population. We currently, for example, looking at a mental health management platform for school teachers and counselors to help children, so they can identify real time and at a customized level, like the pupil, their mental health load, and detect early signs of ADHD or depression at the children level. And this won't be, dependent on any social class or any income.
Perfect.
Thank you very much.
Merci, Sabine. Our next presenter, if you can please welcome Benjamin Kaiser from Teampact.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Benjamin Kaiser. I'm a former international rugby player and now an entrepreneur and investor. And I'm here to talk to you about Teampact Ventures. I'm trying to speak up as much as I can. I'm not sure this microphone is doing the trick. Are we good?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay. Look, I'll try to raise my voice as much as I can. My name is Benjamin Kaiser. I'm a former international rugby player and now an investor and entrepreneur. I'm here to talk to you about Teampact Ventures. We're a team of athletes, entrepreneurs, and investors who want to unite the unique power of talent, sport, and positive innovation to positively impact planet and people. How are we going to do this? Our thesis is to say that the next generation of world leaders will be mission-driven companies where human capital thrives. We demand positive impact on people and planet, whilst the capacity of solving our equation, attracting, retaining, and growing the best talent. Attracting is the reason why we were only focused on climate tech and health tech. The best talent we consider is aiming towards those companies. Retaining is the reason why in our due diligence process, we add a people performance scoring, which I will explain to you in a few seconds. And growing is the reason why we extract the best practices of elite sports to bring them to our portfolio companies. Now, We've been pretty busy in 2022. We are raising our first traditional vehicle, yes, but we've not been sitting on our hands for all this time. We've deployed over 10 million euros on 13 SPVs, doing the deal-by-deal system. In 75% of our current portfolio is in climate tech, circular economy, regenerative agriculture, but also reforestation, mental health in health, and all that. And we also manage to get into some very highly competitive deal internationally. The next step is to raise our current fund. But why are we chosen? Why do we have access to those deals for the toolbox that we deploy? The toolbox is in two sectors: scoring the people performance and then boosting it with the best out of sport. How do we score it? We have seen over 2,000 decks to analyze 350 companies in 2022, but after that we add an extra due diligence of the people scoring. We measure quantitative data and qualitative data. In the quantitative data, we look at the compensation schemes to see if there's no inequality. We look at the type of turnover. We look at the absenteeism rates. We obviously analyze the ESG metrics. All those metrics that can give us an idea of the people performance situation from within. We demand a 60 out of 100 passing score for our companies, otherwise we don't invest. 5 pillars: intentional leadership, obviously very much important, talent strategy, employee satisfaction, relationship with the ecosystem, and the impact. But post-investment, it gives us an MRI of the situation of the company from within. And this is where I've created a program called Boost, backed by tens of athletes who want to impact the world positively, and have found that innovation could be one of those arms to impact the world positively. We have Olympic champions, world champions, collective sports champions, all those who want to find a way through technology by bringing that capital, but also who they are, what they know, what they've been through, to help the founders and the teams in our companies. And we're very proud to be supported by all those people. The next step is to raise our first traditional funds. We will purely focus on seed and Series A. We are aiming to raise around 20 to 30 million, and we've got pretty much 2/3 of the first closing already done. 100% mission driven, climate tech and health tech, 75% in Europe, Article 8 of impact. And I will thank you very much for your attention, and I'll be super happy to answer all the questions.
Wow. I know, that was perfect. Okay, first question. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Sophie Faujour, EVPA, European Investors for Impact. Congrats, very impressive and quite unique, this positioning, having on board such a talented sport representative. My question is, the thematic are very broad where you invest in, so what are exactly your investment criteria? And it comes also with a question of the impact measurement and management. What is exactly the impact you want to generate through your investments, and how transformational they are? What criteria you use?
So thank you very much for your question and your compliment. We definitely want to generate and back founders who want to transform the world positively. For that, they need to create a financial performance, and that financial performance will come from thriving human capital. This is our mindset. Now, we will purely focus on climate tech and health tech. We demand positive impact on the planet and people. Our current portfolio is a little bit broader than what the microfund will be in the future, and that's why we will purely focus on climate tech and health tech. Does that answer your question? Good.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. Great. One more.
What are the top 3 lessons portfolio companies should learn from athletes?
Failing is part of the journey. Definitely learn to enjoy the grind. Don't focus on the mission, focus on the everyday practice of enjoying the grind. And the last thing is absolutely focus on your strengths. It takes so much more time and resources to go from bad to relatively average, rather than to go from very good to world class at what you do.
Thank you. Perfect, Benjamin. Thank you. So you might be wondering why I'm coming up on stage like the Grim Reaper and kind of pulling them off, and you hear the bells. So obviously it's really hard to present your entire thesis and your story in 4 minutes, as everyone has seen, and it's even harder in the round, right? So we were going to have a 15-minute break, but now it's going to be 5 minutes, so we're all being punished for the time. Yeah, exactly. So please, I probably would suggest we stay around here, don't move too far, and we'll be back with our next presenter in 5 minutes.